Joining us here, thrilled to meet and congratulate in person the United States Open champion, fresh back from Oakmont, J.J. Spaun. Good to see you, J.J. How are you?
Great. Thank you guys very much.
Is that the hardware behind your left shoulder right there?
Yep.
Huh?
That's it. That's glory.
What is it, JJ? What did you call
the glory? All of glory, I guess. Sorry. I don't know.
Yes. No. I mean, it could be. I mean, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, like the Precious, that's the Precious right there over your.
Yeah, there we go.
That's
Precious.
it, right? That's Congratulations, man. I was saying on this show, your story is why we watch sports. What is going through your mind when you see, as you say, the glory, the Precious behind you there, and all the hard work that you've put into it, JJ?
Yeah, it just means that what a journey I've been on to get to this point in my career. I never really knew how far this game could take me. You obviously have dreams and aspirations, but to eventually, finish one off and not only just win on the PGA Tour, but to win a major championship, it's beyond my wildest dreams, honestly. And it's still hard to think that this is real life.
And who were you thinking about? Once that putt sank and you just, you saw that thing go in 64 feet, and after you're celebrating, who'd you think about, JJ?
I was just so engulfed in emotion. I just wanted to be, next to my family, my girls, my wife. They embraced me with big hugs, and it was just kind of everything you imagined to how everything could have unfolded perfectly with that finish, and to kind of put an exclamation point on it with that 64-foot putt was an amazing experience and something I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Let's talk about your kids because, interestingly enough, you win this on Father's Day. And, we all know when you got kids, the most important job isn't what you do for a living. It is being a dad. And so walk me through how your day started, JJ, on that Sunday, please.
Yeah. Woke up to what sounded like a ton of gagging and crying from a 2-year-old little girl. Unfortunately, she caught some sort of stomach bug or maybe food poisoning at the daycare that week, and couldn't hold down water, couldn't hold down anything to settle her stomach. So my wife originally got up with her at 3 a.m. and she woke me up, said, "Violet can't keep anything down. She's got puke all up in her pack and play," and we're trying to get extra towels from one room to the other to kind of help her clean herself up. But yeah, I tried to find a CVS, that morning around 3:30 a.m. and, get her what she needed. And, I did the best I could. Pedialyte and saltine crackers are kind of, the ingredients for a 2-year-old. You can't really give them any sort of medication, but she had to rough it out. But it was definitely a crazy morning to a pretty crazy Sunday.
Well, you know what, JJ, I've been there. Dads, moms, we've all been there. Although didn't have to wrestle with Oakmont later on in the day as you did. But so you were in an actual pharmacy in your area nearby at 3:30 in the morning of the day of the final round of the U.S. Open. That happened for you?
No, I got out into the there's like a convenience store in the Westin there, and they had stuff and it was closed. But the CVS that was 24 hours, it was literally 3.8 miles away, and I double checked to make sure it was open 24 hours and it wasn't. So unfortunately I didn't go till about 7 a.m. But like it was crazy how I had to I went through just my dad instincts kicked in, and I was like, I'll do whatever it takes to get something to this girl right away. But yeah, it was an insane morning.
So did you go back to sleep? Did you get any sleep at
Yeah,
all?
I went back to sleep for a couple hours. So then my 5-year-old jumped in bed while the other one was puking her brains out in the other room. The 5-year-old came and slept with me and was kicking me in the back all night long too, all morning. But it's fine. I mean, they're my kids, they're my girls. I'm used to it, and sometimes, you got to be a dad first before a golfer. And, I ended up, making it out all right.
Yeah. Yeah, you did, and that's just going to add to the story, right? Later on, when your kids, obviously, your 5-year-old might one day have a recollection of being there at Oakmont, right? Like some memories. Your 2-year-old clearly won't, but this is part of the, the fact that you were there for them, gathered yourself, and then played one of the toughest courses in the history of the sport on one of the toughest days and setups, right? And got through even a front nine of 40. What were you thinking making the turn on Sunday, JJ?
Well, fortunately, they had some weather come in right before I teed off on number 9.
Right.
And that was kind of the key moment where, my caddy and I looked at each other when that horn went off to stop play, that this is exactly what we needed. Kind of a little pause in this, lull of, bad play where things were not going my way. I mean, because it's not like I was playing too terribly. I was getting a few bad breaks, a couple bad bounces that kind of ended up turning into bogeys. But yeah, we used that reset to kind of my advantage where, we went inside, took an hour for everything to blow over. And I just went back out with a different attitude and just knew like, okay, I feel like I'm going to feel like a new guy, going to forget what happened those first 9 holes and come back out firing. And, I ended up doing that.
Do you know how many feet of putts you rolled into the final 7 holes? Did you hear that number, JJ? Do you know?
Yeah, roughly 130 something.
136. 136 feet of putts. Did the hole look particularly large to you over the last few holes?
No. No, I just think it was just meant to be. Like everything was just going in, like no matter if it felt like it was supposed to go in or not, like they were just going in. Like you couldn't stop it from happening, and it wasn't really like a confidence thing. Like, I know I'm going to make it. I mean, yes, I was trying to make it, but it seemed like I just couldn't miss no matter how hard I tried.
Well, and again, listen, dad first, family first. I get it. But, when you hit the stick on 2, right? You hit the stick on 2 and it flew practically miles away. Were you sitting there thinking, man, so, one kid's sick, the other one gets into bed, I'm loving that I'm there for them as a dad and whatever, but this is the United States Open here, and this may not be my day. Did that go through your head at all, JJ?
Yeah, totally. It's tough when you execute exactly how you want to, and then you hit the shot exactly how you plan to, and it takes a bounce like that. And that hole was literally a 2-shot swing. I thought it would have been a pretty close birdie chance. Had it not hit the flag. Instead, it hits it and goes. Literally, we were 53 yards away from the hole. That's what we got calculated our distance for my 3rd shot. So I went from probably a tap in to maybe, if I was extremely lucky to make it, to 53 yards away, and end up making a bogey instead of a birdie or better. But for a while there, the first few holes, I was thinking, how am I ever going to make a darn par? But it's just that's the test the U.S. Open puts you through. Everyone goes through it. It's just a matter of what point in the tournament you go through that and how you respond and not react.
Man, a few minutes left with J.J. Spaun, U.S. Open champion, couple days after winning it all on quite the Father's Day. JJ, we have a game here called Celebrity True or False that we play usually with actors, actresses, and things of that nature based on stuff that we've read to see what's true or what's not. So much has come out about you in the last 48 hours. I'd love to see if I could do that with you right here on the program. And we've got the animation, we've got the production value. Just because he's a player doesn't mean we don't do it. Hit it. Go ahead, roll it.
Let's do it.
Celebrity True or False?
You can't handle the truth.
All right, there we go.
All right.
All right. Do you like that one, JJ? That's our.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
thank you.
beautiful.
Appreciate it. That's our precious right there. True or false? Your mom asked doctors when she was 8 months pregnant with you if she could still play golf, and they approved so she could play exercise playing rounds. Is that true, JJ?
What do you think? I'm answering.
Okay, yes, you're answering. Is it true?
Okay.
Is this
that is true?
It is true. So she's a player, and she's 8 months pregnant with the future U.S. Open champ, and she asked the doctor permission to continue playing golf. Is that basically what happened?
Yes, that is so true. Well, ironically, she would be out there playing this par 3 executive course in South Pasadena, California, and out there with their big pregnant belly, and everyone out there would see her and just kind of scratching their head. They're like, this is a strange sight, but they would say that kid's going to be a golfer, and I don't know, who knows, maybe I was getting the motion, the move in my swing, in the womb as I was developing as a child. So who knows?
Well, is it also true, J.J. Spaun, that your dad would hit range balls with you in a stroller watching, so you could?
True.
My God. And that he set up
osmosis.
It's right. And he set up a hitting net in your garage. And when you were old enough to actually use it, you hit everything in there, from actual balls to sockets from his toolbox. Is that true?
True. There's video.
There's video of this stuff?
Yeah.
So your folks were like, this guy's going to play golf come heck or high water. Is that basically what was happening?
Yeah. I mean, they didn't force me. It just was kind of that was our family activity. My dad would work all week, and then they go play golf on the weekend. And I was an only child, so I was along for the ride, and just ended up partaking, at a pretty young age.
And is it true you wanted to be a skateboarder as well as a kid? But
that is true.
And why did you stop again?
Because I got ran over by a car.
Dude, really?
Wait, what?
That happened?
That is not the true reason. That's one of the many reasons. I mean, I wasn't good enough, but there were a lot of. I still have scars and wrist arthritis from falling. Honestly, so it's a pretty intense, extreme sport to have take its toll on your body. But yeah, I mean, I eventually wasn't good enough to make anything of it.
Okay. Is it also true you were your diabetes diagnosis was misdiagnosed, and you lost damn near 50 pounds and your tour card because of it, essentially? Does that happen?
Yes, that is true.
Why did you want to keep going, JJ? What caused you to just say, you know what? I'm not stopping. You were a walk-on. That I know is a fact, right? At San Diego State. You're an Aztec walk-on.
Yep.
And clearly you love golf, but why did you say I'm not losing my tour card this way? I'm going to keep going. Why'd you do that?
Well, I definitely was kind of trending that way when I was still going through my misdiagnosis. It was when I got re-diagnosed and diagnosed correctly that kind of gave me new life. I obviously started to feel better. I started to keep weight on, get muscle mass back, and I started to perform better too. So obviously playing poor golf is miserable, and doing it week in and week out for, a year on the PGA Tour and just trying to grind and getting nothing out of everything you put in is takes its toll. But when I got correct diagnosis, mm-hmm. It was kind of new life, and I've just always had that attribute in me to be resilient and never give up. And, I've kind of always had a chip on my shoulder, and I wasn't going to let something like that kind of, bring me to my knees. All
right. 2 more facts here. I love this. A makeshift celebrity true or false with
great.
J.J. Spaun.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
Great job.
Hey, man, I'm a professional, sir, just like you.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
True or false? You and your wife have agreed that there's a time limit of your practice. You get 5 hours, and then you got to come back to being a family member. Is that true?
True.
Where did this come? How did this happen?
Well, it started at the Century in Maui, where it's usually the first event of the PGA Tour season, and we went a little early, and it was our first family trip in a while. It was kind of post-COVID. And she said, stop going to the golf course for so long. You need to, your family's here. We're in Maui. This is our first time. It's a tournament that only the tournament winners get into. And she's like, let's cherish this, enjoy it. So you can only go to the golf course today for 5 hours, and you got to come back and be with us and go to the beach, and kind of maybe you need more of a balance. And I've been doing that, especially that week. I did that and I ended up finishing 5th at the tournament, which is a good showing. And, it's kind of been the routine now for the last few years.
Okay. And then last one, true or false, you're a Dodger fan. Is that true? LA Dodger fan?
That is true.
Man, it's all coming up roses for you, dude. I mean, look at this. Okay.
Are you a Giants fan?
No, I'm a Yankee fan. The guy on the right just destroyed my October last year. That's all right. And the guy on the left, destroyed a lot of Octobers when he was on the Red Sox, and then last year too. But that's okay. It's okay. But look at that. Is it true you played the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am with Mookie? Did you do that?
Yeah, Mookie was my partner. Yeah, in 2022.
How psyched must you have been on that day?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, at that moment, that was my highlight of my career. Play with Mookie Betts, it was pretty sweet at Pebble Beach. I don't know if you've been, but it's quite the place to be.
Oh, sure. And he's one of the greatest athletes, period. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. He had never played tournament golf ever, and here he is just throwing himself into a PGA Tour Pro-Am, and just with all eyes on him. He still teed it up and did well. So it was a blast.
Dude, are you serious? He'd never played. I think the first time he plays tournament golf is I'll just do Pebble.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't even think he played like a member or anything. Nothing kind of low key. It was just, I'll just jump straight into the Pro-Am,
Wow. That is pretty amazing and pretty cool. Hey, JJ, congratulations. Obviously an incredible paycheck. That Jack Nicklaus medal, that's somewhere too, I imagine, right? You were wearing that. I wouldn't have taken that off,
It's in my backpack. Yeah.
In your backpack? What?
Well, I mean, I am traveling with 2 kids, Rich. You need to remember that.
You need to keep it away because they'll put it on. They'll just think it's something that they
they'll probably go hide it somewhere. 2 5-year-olds, they just hide crap. What'd you do with my phone? Where's my wallet? My credit cards are all over the place. It's crazy. I'm not even kidding.
Oh, by the way, I've got 3 kids. I'm with you, man. Obviously, all those Ryder Cup points, FedEx points. You got your invitation to the Open for the next 10 years, next 5 years for the other 3 majors, exempt status on the tour for 5 years, an invitation to the next 5 player championships. I mean, what would the guy who walked on at San Diego State, lost the tour card, had to get back on Korn Ferry, what would that guy have said if he had heard what I just said to you right now, JJ?
He probably would have said, "I believe it." He'd be proud. Totally shown a lot of perseverance. I've kind of, like I said, always had a chip on my shoulder, always had to prove myself. And I think the resiliency has been, the key attribute to me kind of getting to this point in my career where I'm at now.
All right. And then this moment right there, that's got to be on the wall, right? Forevermore. And
first it was the par 3 at Augusta, but we're going to have to switch it out to this one on the 18th green.
Well, you could do both. There's a lot of wall space, I'm sure.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Both. Yeah, you can have both. You can
one for every major, something. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now we're talking.
I like it. Last question for you, JJ, if you don't mind a moment for me here. I am playing in the American Century Championship in July. I haven't played in that tournament in 21 years. For me to break 100 is truly the greatest day of my life. I am excited to do it, but I'm also a little bit freaking out. JJ, I'm not going to lie. Do you have any advice for me before I go out there with actual humans standing in a gallery with me standing over a tee shot or any shot, putt? You have any advice for me, JJ?
Yeah, I would just remind yourself you're not a professional golfer. Okay. No one's expecting you to play great.
Okay.
Just go out, have fun.
Thank you.
Keep things light.
Sure.
Try to make a few pars, settle the nerves early on.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can start attacking those birdies. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do know what you mean. I like it.
And if all else fails, just blame your caddy.
Sold. Sold. And thankfully, my children will be in summer camp, so they won't be kicking me in the back or vomiting at 3 a.m. the night before.
You'll get your beauty rest. Yes,
man,
we'll be ready.
Man, I couldn't have been more happy to watch what you did. And it's really cool watching Robert McIntyre clapping for you right from the clubhouse. The way you rolled it in, like screw two-putting. How does a one-putt sound? It was awesome, and it's a pleasure to meet you, and I hope this is the first of many times that we get to chat here on the program. Thank you so much, Rich. Pleasure to meet you, too. Thank you so much for having me, and let's do it again soon. I'd love it. Oh, screw it. One last year. Do you have a football team? Because, I'm an NFL guy. You got an NFL team, JJ? Unfortunately, during my growing up in L.A., USC was like the football team of that city, so I don't have a strong connection with any team. JJ, appreciate the time. I know I've kept you probably a little bit too long, but I say thank you. No problem. Anytime, Rich. JJ, take care. You bet. JJ Spaun, 2025 United States Open champion. Awesome. This is why we watch sports. Yeah, it's for stories 100%. Like that, a family guy like that. Hashtag girl dad, man. You know how I feel about my daughter. It's awesome. She's number one. Stop it. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.